What if the person that abducted me is me?
Welcome to Decoding TV's coverage of Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 2. We are rewatching every episode of the Apple TV series in preparation for Dark Matter Season 2 coming out at the end of August. I'm David Chen here with Patrick Klepek. Wanted to acknowledge a couple pieces of feedback from last week's episode before we get started with today's. First of all, Patrick Klepek, you led me astray, man. During that episode, you said the Village Tap Bar was a real bar. This is a bar that's depicted in Dark Matter. Not a real bar, but it is shot near Logan Square. The location where they shot it is near Logan Square, and there is a Logan Theater sign that appears in the background, which is a real place.
Yes.
I don't know if you got that mixed up or what you were.
I found something as Village Tap, and it looked approximate to to it.
But some people wrote into decodingtv@gmail.com with that correction, so thank you for that. But yeah, let's get to it, Patrick. Let's just dive right into this episode. So Season 1, Episode 2 of Dark Matter. And so we're going to spoil the episode, so you should assume we're spoiling it from this point forward. But, I kind of set this up. I kind of called my shot, and I said, hey, Patrick, there's a shocking moment in Season 2 that makes me lock into this show. You have now seen the episode. Did you also lock in, or was this just kind of another normal episode of the show for you?
Well, it made for interesting personal framing for the episode, knowing that you had set me up like, hey, there's a moment in here where I sat in my chair and okay, now really interested to watch the show. So I'm watching the entire episode.
Right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to
No. But I was beginning to get stressed out. I'm pausing the show. Not that I'm not enjoying the episode.
Right.
There's a lot to like in the second episode. I really do think the show sort of comes into form in a lot of different ways in the second episode. It makes sense that when the show debuted, episodes 1 and 2 were released together.
Yes.
I think it
Agreed.
acts as a complete sort of introduction to the story. That said, I'm pausing and I'm like, is this this is kind of a cool moment. Is this the moment that David locked in? I don't know. And there was a moment that I almost texted you while I was on the flight, yeah, this must have been it, man. I get it. And I only sort of got it. I was and it's when there's a clip that people just heard where our main character is telling a story, a hypothetical. And it's I wonder, I think this might be the moment. And then it passed and I went, I don't think, I guess that could have been the moment. And then the episode goes. And then some kissing happens. I'm like, ooh, maybe this is the moment. Yeah, that is interesting. Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Locked in. And then the episode keeps going. We get to literally the last 10 seconds of the episode and an event occurs. I go, oh, now I get it. That's that. Okay. That's
amazing.
I think that has to have been when I texted you confirmed
I love
that was the moment. I was like, okay, now it was crystal clear. It was just stressful because the crystal clear moment came right before the cut to black.
Right. Well, I didn't want to spoil when it would happen in the episode, right?
I know. But I actually think I would have preferred to have known it was in the last 30 seconds.
Yes. Well, next time I'll keep that in mind. Okay. So, yes, we're going to spoil what happens, right? But Jason meets an alternate version of his wife named Daniela and starts telling her about the life they live together in his universe. And then at the very end of the episode, Velocity Security just completely executes her in cold blood, which I was just so stunned by that they would introduce, because Jennifer Connelly, big name actor, they introduced this version of the character who I'm like, oh, this is a cool, compelling version of this character. And then she's literally famous in this universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for them to just kill her right out the gate, I was like, wow, that is bold.
Yes.
I thought that was a bold decision.
Yes.
So did you have the same reaction, Patrick, or?
I did, because they really lull you into a sense of false security, right before, when it's who is this Spicy? He's gonna have sex with his wife from a different dimension. Right. Okay. And when I was talking about, I need this show to step beyond the basic premise and use the advantage of television storytelling to further explore this idea of being sort of a dimensional traveler. That is the kind of stuff that I was looking for. It's that is delicious and spicy and weird. This is what we're doing in the second episode. I cannot wait to see
Right.
where we go from here.
What are the implications of
Yes.
having sex with this woman who like doesn't actually know you, but in your reality was your
Yes.
wife?
Yes,
right?
and I feel for everybody involved. So I sort of see how we got here. But then to have that taken away so abruptly is it's like you gave me one episode of building a little safety net for my character in this other dimension, and now we're going to immediately remove it. It's the show. We've talked about this before. I love when shows, games, all sorts of stories are unafraid to rip out a good idea in service of getting to the next one.
Totally.
This was something that was genuinely interesting enough to probably drive an entire season of storytelling. As immediately I'm telling a story in my head, like, all right, so he's going to spend more time here. He's going to build the box, find the box. He's going to kind of fall in love with a different version of his wife. What if she gets pregnant? Like over the course of okay, like I see the arc. I see where this season is going. Yes. And then the show literally pulls out a gun and goes, bam, that season's not going to happen.
Yes.
Okay. Well, now he needs to get the fuck out of this dimension ASAP. And so it just introduces a possibility space for the storytelling that I'm very excited about, because it feels like anything is now on the table and anything can be thrown out really, really fast, which is just an exciting place to be. It's like, that's what sci-fi allows you to do. So lean into it. And it feels like the show is going to lean into that. You know that better than I do, but it left me in a much more excited place for the ambitions of this season than I did at the end of the first episode, which felt this could be cool, but I need to see the cool. And here I saw the cool.
Well, I hope the show lives up to that. But yeah, I remember my first experience watching the show and being like, whoa. I mean, you put it so beautifully, very eloquently. I don't know that I had all those thoughts, but I felt those things of like, I'm like, so it's gonna be the two of them, because they're kind of like going on little adventures in this episode. So it's just gonna be the two of them and like learning about each other, and then wham, she's dead. It's like, oh, holy crap, So anyway,
and no ambiguity. Like, I saw the body. Like, that lady
you saw the body.
Fucking dead.
She is dead.
They pan back over just to reaffirm to you, because sometimes if the character from the corporation like just shot her and like cut to black, it's like, all right, like I've seen this before. Like they're probably gonna bring her to the corporation and then he's gonna have to help her escape from there. No, it's like pan. Bullet in the forehead, like that person is never
eyes,
coming back. Yes,
no pupil response.
I appreciate some confirmation in my shows.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like the show knows that they need to deliver that too. Like it's like shows a level of competence that I think really inspired my trust early on. Okay, let's talk about some of the stuff that happened this episode. I'm going to read from the Wikipedia plot summary, and then we'll talk about a few things. I also have some book comparisons at the end that I'm going to try to bring 3, 4, 5 big book comparisons every episode. So you can join along with the book if you're reading Blake Crouch's book Dark Matter, or just watch along with the show. The Velocity team scrambles to find Jason number 1 while he checks himself into a hospital, where he learns that he is a renowned physicist who has not been seen in public for over a year, and there is a mysterious psychoactive compound in his system. Escaping impending psychiatric confinement, he manages to track down Daniela, now a successful artist, at her latest art exhibition. When Jason, Ryan, and Daniela talk after the show at Daniela's house, she tells Jason number 1 that he, in fact, the other Jason number 2, approached her before his disappearance and confided his regrets regarding ending their relationship long ago and the possibility that she would never see him again. Despite being puzzled and concerned, Daniela agrees to help Jason number 1 resolve the discrepancies he has identified in his life and environment, end quote. Let's just talk a little bit about this. Like, as you're watching the show, I mean, I think you probably already figured out like what's going on. He's in this alternate universe. There's a different version of Daniela. Like, what did you make about how that all played out with the Daniela reveal?
I think it was really fun because the show, like the character, like Jason is just sort of lurching from one spot to the next. Like watching him not even charm his way into the art exhibition, but just sort of, because of the nature of the kind of character he is in this world, is able to get in by sheer just sort of happenstance. All that is really fun. And just watching him navigate the surprises, and he's not even good at it. Like, there's nothing suave about him.
Right.
Like, what I do think there are often in these stories, I don't know, like you end up getting a more confident character, and like here,
Right.
he's a dumbass. Like, I have no confidence in his ability to successfully navigate this. Like, he just seems like a total incompetent buffoon. And the most relatable moment is like halfway through the art thing where he's just like got a giant thing of whiskey and he's like, I don't know, man, like this is bad. And all that really, watching him just sort of bumble his way through is really one of my favorite parts of the show so far.
Yeah. I really liked how the art exhibit thing played out, because he goes and he introduces himself, and then the person at the art exhibit says, hold on for a second, and then goes check the, oh, I'm so sorry, like I didn't recognize you. And it played out very realistically as to what happened in this situation. Of course, we then learn that she based the whole art exhibit around him, right? Like, you see his images on the wall, and even though they haven't seen each other for a long time, he's stuck with her in her mind, Daniela, I mean. And then we see this version of Daniela that is somehow, by the way, even hotter than the Jennifer Connelly from the first universe.
We get to see her all dressed up, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, her hair is different too. Like, it's like
yep.
That's how you know she's the Daniela from Jason 2's universe. She has the longer hair, and then the shorter housewife hair is with the other Jason. And that is, that's what Jason 2 was he was going for the less hotter version and more obtainable version of Jennifer Connelly, really.
Well, and like the flip side of that is like Jason 2 having sort of his own reaction. Like, when he walks in, he's like, "Oh, I've got a son. Fuck. Like, oh, this sucks." Or at least that's Peter's like sort of his initial response is like, "Oh, son of a bitch. I just wanted to have sex with this woman. I have that to deal with as well." Didn't do enough research on this dimension. But also, it feels like he's been there for a while.
Yeah,
like,
no,
plotting
he's
this
done,
moment.
He's done the research. Like, because early on in the first episode, he's like writing down all of Jason's activities. He's been following them for quite a while.
He still seems taken aback by the like when he walks into the room. There's a real like pants shitting moment. I'm like, oh man, like a child.
Well, I think he can have that reaction. He can be following them and still have that reaction of like, I guess I got to deal with this. Maybe this is a good point to talk about some of the differences with the book, Patrick Klepek.
I have a question. You can get to that, but I want to ask something about. You can get to it at the end. I just want to plant the seed. What you mentioned something interesting last time of where you were at in the page count of the book by the end of the first episode. I'm curious if you can make that part of this segment. Is like, because if at one point I want to try and like jump on, but I also don't want to spoil the story. Like, at this point, I'm invested in learning the story through the medium of the television show, and then experience it like you are. So like, I'm trying to figure out where I should hop on, and so I keep me up to date on, and the audience up to date on like where you're at in the book.
I will say that it is not exact 1-to-1, because the way the show does it is it cuts between the two realities, right? Whereas in the book, it's more closer to like one chapter is like one reality, and then another chapter is another reality. So it's not like exact. It's and I'm not even being precise in how I'm describing it right now, but I will tell you that roughly the end of episode 2 is the end of chapter 5 in the book, and there are 15 chapters in the book.
Okay,
so it's about a third, not quite, because some of the chapters are different lengths, but like it's about a third of the way through the book.
Okay,
that we are as of the end of episode 2. By the way, there's 9 episodes. So, and I have not read I'm actually going along with, I haven't read the book already. I'm like going along with the show. So I'm also learning some things through this process. I do think that, usually I try to save the book differences for the end, but I do think it would be interesting to talk about some of these big differences right now. One of the big differences between the show and the book is the book is just much more existential about life and general, and like how easy it is to lose everything. Like, you're in Jason's head. It's told from first person perspective. And so he's like, I lost, 2 days ago I lost everything. Like at this point of the story, his whole family's gone. He's like, 2 days ago I lost everything. And it's interesting the way they describe the art exhibit, right? It's like it's this labyrinth, and it has 5 different choices instead of 3. In the show, it's much more ham-fisted and like on the nose of. I don't know if you know this, Patrick. The art exhibit represents what the show is trying to say, right? Like it's much more like obvious what the connection is. In the book, he enters this kind of labyrinth with 5 possible entryways. And I'll read a portion from the book. This is from page 85. While I can see others in the labyrinth, it doesn't feel like we're in the same room or even the same space. They seem worlds apart and lost in their own vectors. I'm struck for a fleeting moment by the overwhelming sense of loss. Not grief or pain, but something more primal. A realization and the terror that follows it. Terror of the limitless indifference surrounding us. I don't know if that's the intended takeaway from Daniela's installation, but it's certainly mine. We're all just wandering through the tundra of our existence, assigning value to worthlessness. When all that we love and hate, all we believe in and fight for and kill for and die for, is as meaningless as images projected onto plexiglass. At the labyrinth's exit, there is one last loop. A man and a woman each hold the tiny hand of their child as they run together up a grassy hill under a clear blue sky, with the following words slowly materializing on the panel. This is a quote from Mark Twain. Nothing exists. All is a dream. God, man, the world, the sun, the moon, the wilderness of stars. A dream, all a dream. They have no existence. Nothing exists save empty space. And you are not you. You have no body, no blood, no bones. You are but a thought. End quote. So that is much darker.
Okay.
Right? Like that is like much darker and bleaker, right, than the show. You know what I mean?
Well, and I actually think, again, I haven't read the book, but I sort of like in the show so far not having access to his interiority other than what's on his face and what he's able to. I feel like I'm going on a more natural journey with the character. I get what the book, I get what they're saying there. Yeah. But I sort of like that I have to read his reaction to what's going on his face rather than.
I mean, I would say very little of that is in the show. Like the show is focused more on like, hey, it's different choices and your life turns out differently. Right. And this is more like, man, this is all meaningless. like it's a huge difference. The other thing I want to say is when he sees Daniela for the first time, here's what it says. It's actually a lovely passage. In proximity, she's electric, so sparkling with life that I have to restrain myself from calling out to her. Like he sees her for the first time at the exhibit. This is Daniela with an energy like the first time we met 15 years ago. Before years of life, the normalcy, the elation, the depression, the compromise transformed her into the woman who now shares my bed. Amazing mother, amazing wife, but fighting always against the whispers of what might have been. My Daniela carries a weight and a distance in her eyes that scare me sometimes. This Daniela is an inch off the ground, end quote. And I thought the show did a wonderful job of like kind of translating that into like reality. Like, oh, this is a very different version of Jennifer Connelly's character. So anyway, a couple of other differences. I'll save those to the end. Anyway, let's continue on with the plot summary. So Jason realizes that the paths between the Jasons diverged when Daniela became pregnant, when Jason 1 decided to stay and Jason 2 decided to leave. Meanwhile, despite initially struggling, Jason 2 settles into his blissful life with Daniela and Charlie. Suddenly, Dawn from Velocity Security breaks into Daniela's condo, kills her, and captures Jason 1. End quote. So that's what happens at the end of the episode. I will say one of my favorite aspects of the show, by the way, is when Jason is kind of talking with Daniela and Ryan, and he kind of lays out the whole story, right? And then he says, Ryan says, "This sounds like the guy's crazy," and then Jason says, "I'm not crazy," and everyone realizes like, oh, you're the person who the hypothetical is about. I thought that was a great moment. Anything else from the episode that you want to highlight, Patrick Klepek?
I think Jason 2 has underestimated how easy it's going to be to slot. Like, I think Jason 1 has an easier time slotting into the world of Jason 2 than Jason 2. Like, dude, you're doing the easy part. I came home and seduced my wife who is used to having sex with me. Like, wow, way to go. But his life is just not that exciting, right? Like it's a pretty
Mhm.
low key, and I feel like that anything that is different is fun and exciting. But I feel like Jason 1 or Jason 2 is going to start running into
Right.
fitting into the rhythms of that life. I feel like that's going to be one of the things that I think is going to be potentially interesting for the show to explore is like, okay, you use this incredible technology to like pull off this gambit. Now you're here. You actually have to live the gambit. And I feel like that is going to have some unintended like monkey it's gonna curl. The monkey's paw is gonna curl,
Yeah.
and I'm curious to see where those moments happen
Right.
and what friction points occur between he's taking notes, but you can't take notes on an entire life. You can't take
Right.
notes on the in-jokes and references between people, and at some point that is going to cause a problem. And like I'm really excited to see. I'm actually more interested in what's going to happen with Jason 2's friction points than I am in can he get back to the box and like get back to the, you know what I mean? Because I'm interested to see what happens to the repercussions of Daniela dying in the alternate universe. But also now that world is a little more, I've seen this story before, right? Like it's it's like, oh, he's got to get back to the technology to like find his way
Right.
back to the universe.
Yeah.
Like, the interesting part was, what if you could have sex with your alternate universe wife? And then she died, and it's cool and it's shocking. But now my interest in terms of what is more interesting from a storytelling perspective about the implications of this technology
Yeah.
is back in Jason 2 being in Jason 1 universe. And so I don't really know where the show goes from here. But I've seen this story before in terms of that, like I've got to race into the technology lab and use the technology to get back. Like I've seen that. So hopefully it's smarter than that, than what I might expect. Because it's done a lot of that in episode 2. But now it's moved that story to something a little more potentially standard as opposed to what's happening in the other universe. I have no idea what the arc of that character is over there. Because I don't think Jason 1 is getting back anytime soon, which means it's a lot of episodes of weird stuff happening with Jason 2.
Yeah. All right. Let me talk about some of the other big differences between the show and the book. One of the things is that we get perspectives from Leighton and Amanda as they try to track down Jason in episode 2 of the show. None of that is in the book because it's all you're in Jason's head. You know what I'm saying? So it's all like Velocity Industries. We don't really get any of their POV in the book. So all that stuff is show invention. I don't know if it adds anything particularly to the show, and we'll at this stage of the show, we'll see if it does in the future. In the book, Jason and Daniela do actually hook up, and they don't like go on these adventures. Like Jason takes Daniela to his old house in the show. That doesn't happen in the book. Instead, when he goes back to his house the first time in episode 1, that's when he like sees all the shit on the wall and sees a drawing that has the words Daniela Vargas on it, which is like, that's weird because Vargas is her maiden name. What's going on with that? And that's how he like knows to look for Daniela in the book, which by the way, he does by renting a Fleabag motel or hotel and looking up the white pages for Daniela. Of course, in the show, he uses an iPad. So there's the Apple TV tie-in. What else is a major difference that I want to mention? The other thing that I thought was interesting, to your point, Patrick, was in the book, Jason and Daniela hang out after he tells her about the whole deal, and they actually cook a meal together. And there's this interesting dialogue where she's like, they're cooking something, and he knows her mom's bean stew recipe. And like she doesn't know who he is, but like he knows all these intimate details about her life, like what's her mom's bean stew recipe. And I just thought that was like an interesting dynamic where he knows like all this stuff about her like life and her existence, and then she doesn't know anything about him. And like and that's like this asymmetry that would exist in a situation like this. Not really brought out in the show at all, but I just thought that was kind of an interesting element of the book that wasn't in the show. So yeah, those are the main things that were different about the book, like kind of how the labyrinth plays out, the tone of the book, and how the Daniela Jason stuff plays out. But in both book and show, she is brutally executed, and it is shocking. And Jason is very upset about it, as well he should be.
Yeah.
The other thing I guess also about the book is that at this point in the story, Jason is completely discombobulated and he has no idea what's going on. And Daniela is the first person that he connects to that actually shows him some compassion and helps him in some way. And so he's like really grateful and drawn to her for that reason, aside from the fact that she's her wife, she's his wife in another dimension. And so when she is killed, it's like even more gut wrenching because it's like, oh, wow, like this is his only way of hanging on to sanity right now, and like that was taken away from him. One other thing, by the way, is in the book, Daniela and Ryan are kind of in a quasi relationship in this alternate universe. In the show, it's kind of hinted at.
Yeah, they're a little touchy-feely.
They're touchy-feely, and then she says like, "Hey, are you going to finish those dishes?" Right? And I'm like, but then like it's never really remarked upon what's going on. So maybe they're just kind of like casual hookup in the show.
I got a sort of friends with benefits sort of situation from them in the show.
But in the book, they are clearly like together in some kind of relationship. So anyway, and I was just like, oh, that's weird that we'll only get a residual portion of that in the show. That's it. So this has been Dave's Dark Matter Book Corner for the week. But yeah, really open to hearing your thoughts on the show, the book, this podcast segment we're doing here on Decoding TV. Are you enjoying these recaps? Is there anything else you'd like to see? Is there anything you'd like to see less of? Let us know at decodingtv@gmail.com or in the comments. Until next week, this has been Decoding TV, and we'll see you later. Hey everyone, David Chen here. Thank you so much for watching that video from Decoding TV. If you want to get an audio version of the show, all you got to do is go to podcast.decodingtv.com. And if you want to support what we do, get ad-free episodes of the podcast and also bonus episodes of the podcast, go to decodingtv.com and become a paid member. Of course, you can also like and subscribe for more. We appreciate it. Thanks. See you later.